Brian,
How are you?
I'm good, mate.
Good
Yourself?
morning. Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah,
Good to see
yeah,
you.
yeah, good. And you.
So, mate, firstly, thank you for carving out the time to jump on this call. I mean, it shouldn't take longer than like 15 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, I just really just wanted to have a conversation with you about your experience on the program. And just to start with, I suppose to introduce you and yeah, anyone that might be watching this video in the future. Um, Like, what is it you're you've done in the past and what you're doing now?
Well, I was a finance director for 30 years, and then about 3 years ago, I did my electrics exams, and I'm doing my AM2 at the end of the month. So I did your course to get an idea as to how control panels and all those types of things worked. Um,
And how did you find us and B automation?
there's very little out there in relation to control panel work. And the thing about what you offer is there's a lot of the schematics and the information, but also the graphics. So there's also quite a big amount of a library of images and real world examples, which obviously has taken you a long time to put together. But I mean, it's a wealth of information that you can actually. Sometimes people learn differently. Some people learn from a book. Some people learn from YouTube, or some people learn from a combination of being able to see it and also have some of the theory behind it, you know.
Yeah. And where did you find us? Was it online?
Online. Yeah,
Can you
online.
remember where?
I think it was a Google search.
Oh, was it? Okay. You
Yeah.
just came across the website or
Yeah. No, Google search was looking for uh, BMS, Building Management System trainers. And you came up on it as because there's not too many people doing that, you know.
yeah. Oh, cool. That's good to know. So what like when we were talking about the program, like what was it that you specifically were looking for or wanted help with?
Well, what I was looking for was an introduction to the whole area to get an overview of how it all worked, and then to try and gain entry into, how do you gain entry into it? Because without knowing anything about it, you're not going to get any entry into it. So it's easier if you've actually done a course on it and you can speak about, I mean, I would have understood relays and some of that stuff before, as I've worked with some of that. But some of the more intricate stuff, like the diagrams, the schematics, building a control panel, the fact that you need uh, tri cable and stuff like that. I mean, that they're basics which, if you were speaking to somebody, they could ask you a couple of basics, like, and if you didn't know it, well then, it's not going to work for you. When I was when I interviewing accountants back in the day, you have a couple of questions that you'd ask them, and if they could answer it, well, then their technical knowledge and experience is fine. If they can't answer it, well, then
That's
um,
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
for it because it kind of I say this to people and it sounds like it spans across all industries and sectors. Like you, if you as a hiring manager like yourself,
mm.
Brian, back then, you can have a conversation with someone and pretty quickly understand how what their level is.
Yeah. What their level is, what they know, what they don't know, and more importantly, Chris, because lots of the time you want to work with somebody who knows what they don't know. So if someone comes in and says, I know this, and this, and then you ask them questions, well, so they don't know that one, or haven't had much experience with that, well, then you're dealing with somebody who you can probably very successfully work with. If you're dealing with somebody who says, oh, yeah, and it's quite clear to you that they don't really know anything about it, well, then, that's not somebody that you can easily work with, because they'll hide stuff on you, you know.
Yeah, it's and like because I've been in the position of a hiring manager as well, and you can tell people that are just winging it and trying to pull the wool over your eyes. it's a very silly tactic because that hiring manager is a hiring manager for a
Yeah,
reason, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they can see it. They can see
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting. So what? So for you, Brian, then it was more of a bigger picture overview of BMS, was it, or was there any specifics that you were trying to?
It was more an introduction to the area, and essentially, as it was we discussed lately, what I need to do is I need to get my AM2 out of the way and my 2391, um, and then I can start focusing more because I don't see myself retiring. I don't really want to retire, and therefore I wouldn't mind getting into some of the more technical sides of the BMS area control. Not necessarily spending my days building them, but troubleshooting them. Sorting out problems for some of the places where it's not working correctly, etc., etc. Because if you've I worked for about 7 years now as a multi-trader. So if you can understand pipe runs, cable runs, you know, what's happening in the building, and then you can actually go to the control panel that's controlling it all and say, this is not working. If there's a thermostat here, why is it too cold? Why is it too hot? Why is this not coming on? Why is that not coming on? As opposed to somebody who's sitting there may understand the software, but that may not understand where exactly in the building the cable runs are. Maybe somebody's pinched a cable, maybe somebody damaged something, etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you when I first sort of presented the program to you, did you have any concerns or hesitations when you first saw it? And the yeah,
No, what I did mention to you is there's quite a lot of communication coming, and I think what you did to remedy that by having a conference call twice a week was a very wise move,
yeah,
because it sort of, as I say, some people like to get a lot of written information coming at them. Some people then like the human touch, and they like to learn it that way. So you have different learning styles, and by having the conference call, you also met other people and see where they were coming from, and it was a very it adds a huge amount, because you obviously have a lot of knowledge, an in-depth knowledge of thing, and then when you go on the conference call with the people, it really adds more than just a course. Like, for example, I've
yeah,
done most of my training with one particular company. They have been really excellent. So for my 2391, I didn't want to go all the way down to Gatwick, so I went on an online one, and
yeah.
and I haven't sat the exam yet. Been busy, but there's been no interaction with the company. And will I use them again? No. I'll pay
Really?
more. I'll pay more to use a different company where I get, even if it's an extra 200 quid, I don't care, because it's a more enjoyable experience,
Yeah.
and you learn more, you know?
That's some
So,
great. I
yeah,
appreciate that, mate. That's some
yeah,
great
yeah, yeah,
feedback. I'll
yeah, yeah,
continue
yeah.
doing that.
I think it's really where you add really a lot of value, because it's something that a lot of people can, if you get a trainer in, he can talk to you about this stuff. But you do know after a while he hasn't done it. He hasn't really done it.
Yeah,
It comes very obvious, so that the richness of the experience isn't there.
yeah. And so what made you decide to go ahead with it in the end, the program?
I think I got an email from you, Chris.
You
Yeah, that's it. Which reminded me, and then I went, do you know what? I think I'll go with this. Because everybody wants to, and the way it was positioned, you positioned it as an introductory course, and the price point was also um, at a level where you could actually say, okay, well, I'll spend this money, and sure, if it's no good, so what, whereas um, if it's set at too high a level, I think the person says, well, there's a reluctance to
yeah.
probably invest that kind of money.
So do so you the reason you got involved was to sort of give you a bigger picture understanding of BMS.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
Was there any specifics that you wanted to know within that?
No, because in terms of PLCs and in terms of a lot of that stuff, I would have had very limited knowledge. So the only way to actually get that knowledge is to start and the fantastic thing about what you have is you showed us the install, and there was various pictures of it building up, and you could see the relays, you could see all the various control panel bits in that, and then you had the diagram behind that, and then you had an explanation as to what they did. So if you walked into a control, if I walked into a control panel tomorrow morning, right, and I was the only man on the planet, and they said you have to fix that, I'd actually work my way through it. Whereas prior to the course, I'd be looking at it and going, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do here, you know. The other thing that's very important, I think, is that there's a lot of complaints from fellas about salary levels, etc., and
What's that?
you know, there's a
What
lot
level?
of complaints from electricians about day rates being low, salary levels, etc. So, you know, if you don't upskill and if you don't spend some time upskilling, then you're going to be stuck very much into domestic sector, and there's a lot of there's a lot of low price competition in the domestic sector, and you know, particularly also as you're not in the first springs of youth, the running around attics. You even hear it from guys that are in their 40s. They've done 20 years running around attics, and then now they're beginning to slow down a bit. They're beginning to get, you know, the knees are aching and stuff,
Yeah.
and you know, and they're moaning about it because they don't want to do it, obviously. But unless you invest a bit in learning and upskilling, then you're not going to that avenue isn't going to be open for you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
simple
it's
as.
yeah, it's on you as an
Yeah,
individual to take that
yeah,
responsibility and
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, I see I see it, I hear it
Mm,
all the time, mate.
mm.
Similarly to you. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to be doing that when I'm, plus 40, 50.
No.
Is there anything within the, I know you've touched on some things which was really nice to hear. Was there anything specifically, yeah, other than the things you've already mentioned, that stuck out to you within the program that's helped you the most, would you say? Like one thing if you had to choose.
I think the collateral, the material is very good, and the material allowing you to go through it, you know, at your own pace is very, very good. Because I think that the, it's good the way you run it, where you want to compress it down and sort of get people in a blast to do it. But there's quite a lot in there. And what I found when I was doing, I've taken 3 years to do to get to the M2 for a reason. Fellas have done it much quicker. But then when you cram the stuff into you, it tends not to have lodged. Whereas if you do it gradually and you go over it and over it and over it again, by the time you actually get to your AM2, then you actually, you know, it, and it won't all be forgotten tomorrow morning, you know. And so there's a lot in your course for somebody that wouldn't be familiar with and so I think it takes a little bit of time, but the material is there to be able to go in on your own and then work your way through it and revise it, you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the combination of the material that's in there with the images, with the videos, and then with yourself, I think it's a very strong package if you really want to learn BMS. Because I've watched another YouTuber who shall remain nameless, who kind of throws some stuff up there, and he does tend to slag off people that spend on these courses. However, I've watched his stuff, and you know, it's not a serious. It's not a. It's nice that he gives information. He shows some stuff, which is, you know, always appreciated. But it's not a serious, uh, logical, you know, well constructed way to learn. It's not. It's him imparting some of his information, which is nice, but it's not. It's not a training. You know, methodology where somebody has sat down and said, I want to put together materials course that covers how to do it in what would be described as a professional approach, you know.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you sharing that, Brian. Thank you. Um, Mate, well, I think that's pretty much in 15 minutes for the call.
Excellent. Yeah.
Mate, I really appreciate you taking the time to do
No
this,
problem.
Brian.
You have a good day. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, and keep
Yeah.
me updated with your AM2.
I will do. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, mate.
Thanks. See you, Chris. See you.
Cheers,
Have a
Brian.
good
Bye
day.
bye.
Bye.